Hey everybody, Alex Wiffler here with a tuning video. So, a few disclaimers. First of all, I'm not saying that these methods are the best in the world. I'm not saying they're going to get you a million more points. I'm telling you that this is the way I tune my bow, and I found that it works the best for me. So, also a few big thank yous. I want to give a huge thank you to Black Eagle Arrows, because without them this video wouldn't be possible. Also PSC for helping me a lot, and then a huge shout out to Lancaster Archery also. So, without further ado, I'm going to rip apart my bow and show you guys what I do. Stay tuned, guys. Okay, so the first thing I do when I get a bow out of the box is I bring it to spec. I make sure the axle to axle is the correct length, the brace height is the correct length, the timing is correct, and the poundage is correct. Now, since this has an LAS system on the pockets, I want to make sure that they're centered too. It's a great place to start. Now, I'm going to show you how I put on a D-loop. Okay guys, so the next thing I do is I put a T-square on my bow. I'm going to center it with the burger hole, as you can see, and now I'm going to put my halo on there pretty much center to where I want. It's going to be slightly high. I'm going to show you how I do that right now. So I leave the T-square on there for the first loop. I'm going to put it right there, just at the bottom loop, okay? So just like that, and I'm going to pop this off. I'm going to tie 5 loops, 5 knots, just like this. Underneath, I'm going to keep going them so they're below this, just like that. One more for goodness. There you go. So that is all 5 loops. I'm going to do one more just to tie it off, to make sure that that stays. Okay. So now I have to put a knock on here to make sure that my spacing is correct, and I'm going to tie another 5 on top. Just like that. And the extra one just to make sure if something comes undone that there's still enough there. So that is how I start the process of putting a D-loop on. This is where I start. So now for the D-loop. Now I have a lot extra D-loop right here just because I'm terrible at putting D-loops on. I'm going to be perfectly honest. That's where so now I'm going to take my T-square and measure it again. Let's see where we're at. Okay, I want it 1/8 longer, so I'm going to cut it off and burn it tight, and then stretch it to the final length. There you go. Give it a final stretch, and that should be done. Let's see what we got for final length here. Yep, that looks good. Okay, now I'm going to show you how I put on my rest. Okay, so now we will be putting on the Shrewd Remedy rest. So I'm going to put it on the second closest, because I've found that the closer it is to where your wrist is the more forgiveness that I've found for torquing the bow. I'm just going to snug that up just a little bit so I can level it. Because I always find that if I start at level, that's the most repeatable place that I can go. And yes, before you ask, I did level my bow before I did this, so I'm leveling it to a level. Oh, so close. There we go. So we're level, and now I'm going to tighten the set screw on the bottom before I tighten the big one, because that one's going to hold it in place for when I tighten it. So there we go. That one's all set. Oh, so close. There we go. We are at true level. Cool. And guys, if this is off by a hair, it's really fine. So there we go. I got that really snug down. That's not going to move. Okay, so now that I have the rest on there and it's level, I have a 10 blade on there, and it's at about a 33-degree angle. So let's see what we got here. I'm going to put this on here and see where we are at. Okay, so I'm going to raise it. Okay, so as you see right now, we are pointed up. So I'm going to go lower that a little bit, because that is too much. So I moved it half a turn, and let's see where we are at. Okay. Still pointed up. Okay, so let's go down another half turn. And I want that to be pretty much level, dead level. Okay, let's see. And I want it to be level when I take the pressure off of the arrow and it's just sitting on top of the rest. Okay, so I need to move that a little bit more. Pretty close though, guys. Ooh, so close. As you can see, I'm still moving it. Okay. There we go. That looks pretty good to me. I'm gonna move it just a little bit more because. Okay. There we go. So, as you can see, when I take the pressure off and it's just barely touching it, that is between. So, let's toss a sight on there and my stabilizers and see where we're at. Okay everybody, now that we've added the rest to the bow and we have the D-loop on there, I'm going to show you what I do next. So, the next thing that I do is I'm going to center the rest. And how I do that is there's two little holes, one at the top and one at the riser usually. They're where you can add weight. Those are usually dead center in the riser. So I'm going to look down the string, center that with it, and put my rest dead center with that. Now I'm going to go over to the paper, shoot some arrows through it. I'm going to show you my results. Okay everybody, so these are the results of the first shooting through paper with this. So as you can see, I have 250s on the left, 300, 350, and 400 going from left to right. And then from bottom to top, I start with 250 grains and end with 100 grains. So as you can see, there's not a huge change in this. When you shoot really close to the paper, it's really only to check to make sure that your rest is center in your riser. So now that we've gotten that, I'm going to show it with bear shafts. Give me a second, guys. Okay everybody, so this is the bear shafts right out of the bow. As you can see, there's not a huge difference. So what a lot of people don't know is when you shoot right out of the bow, like a few feet, it's not really going to show you that much besides if your rest is straight and if it's centered with the string and everything like that. Now that we've seen the different types of tears, I'm going to give you some quick fixes for them. So if you have a high tear, move the rest up or the knocking point down. Same thing if you have a low tear. Move the knocking point up or lower the rest. I like to run my arrow through the burger hole, so I try to find the happy medium between the two. Now, left tear. This is for a right-handed shooter, mind you. If you're left-handed, just flip the information that I'm giving you. Move the rest towards the riser, stiffen your arrow, or move the cam left. So you would want to have the bigger spacer on the right. Now, again, with a right tear, you want to move the rest away from the riser. You would need a weaker arrow, or you could adjust your point weight by moving up in the point weight. That's going to make the arrow weaker, so that could be another fix too. Or move the cam to the right. There you go, guys. Hope that helps. Okay, everybody, that concludes the first part of our tuning video, basic tuning and getting your bow set up. So next part, we're going to release a video on bear shafts tuning at 20. See you guys there.